Unfiltered and uncensored. Kevin Trudeau's NaturalCures.com exclusive member site.
As I mentioned in the last two presentations on Friday and Saturday, I've traveled 5 million miles to be here over the last 25 years, over 60 countries, and in terms of health, interviewing over 5,000 doctors and healthcare practitioners who are curing people every single day of virtually every disease without drugs and surgery. The fact is, there are non-drug and non-surgical ways to cure and prevent virtually every disease. The question I get is, so what? If a drug works, what's the problem with taking the drug? Why do I have to take a non-drug or non-surgical approach? If the drug or the surgical approach works, why do I have to take the non-drug and non-surgical approach? If I have high cholesterol, what's wrong with taking Lipitor or Crestor or one of the other statins to lower the cholesterol? It works. It lowers the cholesterol. If I have high blood pressure, what's wrong with taking a high blood pressure medication? It works. It lowers my blood pressure. If I can't sleep, what's wrong with taking a sleeping pill? It makes me sleep. And it's a legitimate question. If I have acid reflux or heartburn, what's wrong with taking some antacid, Tums or Prilosec? They work. If I have a headache, what's wrong with taking an Advil, a Tylenol or something, or an aspirin? It works. What's wrong? And what's wrong is this. The reason why I got crucified when I came out with this first book, Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About, 4 years ago, 2004. When I came out with this book, there's great information in here. A lot of information is not in other health books. A lot of it is. The difference with this book is 20 million people bought it. The other health books, 5 people bought them. And if nobody's reading the book, it's irrelevant what information is in it. Does that make sense? But there's one thing in here that I hit very, very, very hard, that virtually no other book does, is I expose the pharmaceutical industry. What I say in the book is, number one, drug companies do not want you to be healthy. Because if all of you were super healthy, you wouldn't be buying or using any drugs, and all the drug companies would be bankrupt. Does this make sense? There's a conflict of interest with pharmaceutical companies. All pharmaceutical companies are publicly traded corporations. Every hospital that you go to is a publicly traded corporation. When you see cancer research centers being advertised on TV, they're publicly traded and they're running those ads not to cure you of cancer. They're running the ads so that you will come in and you will give them your money and that they can make a profit in the treatment of your cancer. And this is what people don't want to hear, but it's the truth. And how do I know? I got friends on the boards. And forget the inside secret conversations that go on. They're publicly traded companies. They have a legal responsibility to increase shareholder value. If you're the president of Merck or if you're the president of Pfizer, imagine going into the shareholder meeting. Hello, I'm the president of Pfizer. Thank you all for investing your money in our company. And I want you to know that my goal is to make sure that no customer uses any of our drugs. My goal is to make sure that people are so healthy, they don't buy anything from us, and our sales go to zero. And all of you will lose all of your money. Thank you for investing in Pfizer. Please invest some more. Do you understand? The meetings don't go like that. So you're not reading the Financial Times. You're not reading the the Wall Street Journal. You're not reading Investors Business Daily. You're not watching Bloomberg TV when they have the CEOs and the CFOs of all the major drug companies, all the hospitals, all people in healthcare. And the conversations go like this. So, how are the prospects for your corporation? Well, Charlie, we're doing some marketing right now, and we're really getting a lot more people to go to their doctors demanding our drugs. So we think things look really bullish. We've kept our costs down by outsourcing the manufacture to foreign third world countries, where the FDA really doesn't have any review over the manufacturing. We bring the drugs in that we produce for about 3 cents, and we can sell it for $200 a bottle. So things look very, very bullish. Well, that sounds great. Any new drugs coming? Yes, we're trying to get FDA approval now to make up a couple new diseases. And when we come up with these new disease labels, then the FDA requires that only a drug be used to treat them. And then we'll have the drug all ready and start a massive marketing campaign letting people know that they have this disease, which they aren't even aware of. And we'll convince them that they need to go to their doctor and demand these drugs. So things look very bullish. Sounds terrific. I mean, that's how the conversations go. So you ever watch the television? It's all about market share, cost, marketing. Do you have competitors? The conversation is never about how the patient's doing. It's never about that. So what the book exposes and what you really have to understand is there's a major conflict of interest with drug companies and hospitals and doctors. It's just not drugs, it's everything. There's a conflict of interest. And when you're aware of this, you can be more educated, you can make better intelligent decisions. This is the point. So the book and the point that I try to get across to people is that drug companies, hospitals, and doctors have a conflict of interest. They do not want you to be healthy. Healthy people don't use drugs. And again, the question that people say is, so what is the problem with me taking a drug if I can't sleep? What's the problem if I have a headache and I need to take a drug? What's the problem if my nose is stuffed up and I need some decongestant and I use it because it works? What happens if I have a sore throat and a fever and I take NyQuil and it works? What's the problem with taking the drugs? The first thing I talk about in this book is the conflict of interest, that drug companies do not want you to be healthy. That's the first thing. But the second thing I point out, which is why I got crucified, was I pointed out the fact that the drugs being sold, every single one of them, causes more health problems than the disease that they're being used to treat. The United States government and the American Medical Association's own data says that more people die every year from taking non-prescription and prescription drugs than from the diseases those drugs are being used to treat. For example, no one's ever died from insomnia, but people die every year from taking Ambien.